Today I'm reviewing one of my favourite ever games, based on the 1953 Disney classic about the boy who never grew up. Yep, you guessed it. Produced by Doki Denki, however the hell you pronounce it, Peter Pan Adventures in Neverland was released for the PS1 in 2002 to coincide with Peter Pan in Return to Neverland, the television animation theatrical release. Yeah, that sounds weird and confusing, but never mind. The game itself, however, isn't actually based on either movie, although it thankfully bears more similarity to the original than a dire Disney sequel. Just why does an octopus tick-tock anyway? Ah, Neverland. Sounds like a great place to be. What are the lyrics to that song now? Think of all the joy you'll find when you leave the world behind. Oh yeah, think of all the joy you'll find. Joy such as killer pirates, tentacle-wielding monsters, exploding pelicans, and ghost terrorists. The game opens at Hangman's Tree, where Peter Pan is bored pacing back and forth. Obviously the novelty of being a flying child for all eternity seems to wear off after a while. That is until Tinker Bell informs him of a treasure hidden somewhere in Neverland, and that there's a map identifying its hiding place.
We must absolutely find this map before Hook does. We can't let Hook get his grubby hands on this map.
No prizes for guessing what happens next. Yep, Hook has the map, and just to ensure Peter doesn't get his grubby mitts on it, he slices the map into 4 parts of equal size. Wow, that's pretty skillful actually, especially with just the one hand. On to the gameplay. First you need to navigate through the forest to find Peter's knife. Once you have it, you can massacre some innocent seagulls. And protect yourself from pirates, of course. But massacring birds is always fun. Wanna bet? Yes! Okay, that wasn't meant to happen, and even if you do manage to prematurely open a secret passage, you can't get much further without having learned a special ability beforehand. We won't say what it is yet. I don't want to ruin its specialness. You can only walk on wooden surfaces. Wait, what? What? That's a bit of an odd rule. Wait, hold on. Are you telling me the only reason he flies is because he's grass intolerant or something? At this point in the game, the plot is pretty thin, but the game manages to keep things interesting by very rarely having a cluster of levels in the same area. Straight after finding his knife, Peter seeks out the mermaids to see if they've seen anything of the map. On the way, he decides to take a shortcut through a tunnel.
Let's go through this cave. It's a shortcut.
Why? You can fly! Why make things difficult for yourself? How is that a shortcut anyway? You would have been the same distance if it had just flown over it.
Hi, Peter.
Oh, thought I'd switched to the wrong channel then for a second.
Hi, Peter. Did you miss me?
Whoa, this is getting a bit risque. Peter Pan, rated R. I couldn't resist, I'm sorry. Way to perpetuate gender stereotypes, Disney. Bravo! You might as well play some stripper music while you're at it. Okay, so it's based on the mermaids from the 1953 film. It's kind of forgivable, really. The mermaids inform you that they've seen something that looked like the map at Pirate's Cove, which, if you look at the Neverland map, is at least several miles from where they're standing. Swimming, whatever. These mermaids have seriously good eyesight. Peter arrives at Pirate's Cove and finds that it's only a piece of the map. All of a sudden, he's called back to the lagoon by this.
What's going on?
Right, I know sound travels, but seriously, how loud is this guy's laugh? And why was he laughing anyway? He's teetering on a rock in the middle of the friggin' ocean. He's an idiot. The easiest boss, Starkey.
Time for a taste of me knives.
This guy just can't keep quiet, can he? He seems to have an extraordinary amount of knives on his person, despite clearly not having any pockets. Obviously, you have to strike him when the wind blows and he starts losing his balance, which is his own bloody fault, really. I mean, what is he doing? What is he doing? He'll fall off of his own accord at this rate. Anyway, after this, Peter learns the special ability I was talking about earlier, in order to open a secret passage. Properly this time. Yes, he learns to throw his knife. What, you mean he never tried before?
Wait, what kind of power-up is that?
This pretty much lays the foundations for the rest of the game. You can progress so far before having to return to one of the last 5 levels you played to locate a secret passage to the next one, which is a nice idea. It's not exactly hugely innovative, but it at least makes the linear gameplay much more interesting. Another power-up you use is pixie dust. Your pursuit of Hook leads you to Skull Rock. After finding that the secret passage is blocked by this creepy boulder with a random grumpy face on it, Tinkerbell reveals she's hidden a bag of pixie dust in the forest, so you go to fetch it.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because we need a fat, lazy excuse for a level boss? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yes, believe it or not, a pirate beats you to it. This time it's an overweight, broken English spewing, angry Turkish stereotype, with a big sword, fez and gold tooth serving as the icing on the cake. To make matters worse, his name is Turk. Subtle stuff.
You know, just in case you couldn't already tell, it was meant to be a stereotypically bloodthirsty Turkish man. Way to bring Peter Pan into the 21st century, Disney.
After you've avoided his boomerang sword, his sword boomerang, his sworderang?
Alright, you do better.
You finally retrieve the pixie dust so you can progress.
Although we seem to be forgetting the fact that Tinkerbell is a pixie anyway, and so you don't need that pixie dust, rendering that boss level entirely pointless.
The game basically sees you traverse the entire map. You flit from place to place kinda rapidly, which keeps the momentum going. It's just a shame there are a few specifically recognizable locations identical to the movies.
A ghost!
Wait, what? A ghost? A ghost pirate? and a ghost bomb? Wait, how does this work exactly? Is the bomb a ghost? Does the bomb explode if it's a ghost? Explain!
Anyway, the bomb explodes, blowing Smee all the way to Mermaid Lagoon.
Wasn't that Mr. Smee?
And we never speak of this bizarre incident again. Ooh.
Peter travels to interrogate him and he tells him he's seen part of the map.
But I did see one of the pieces twirling towards the ship.
Bloody hell. Somebody went to Specsavers.
Thank you, Mr. Smee.
And who remembers a scrap of paper anyway?
Did you notice if he was carrying a piece of paper?
Oh, yeah, you don't forget a thing like that. Oh, dear.
I was actually quite impressed to see that you eventually see the Indian village. You know, especially considering the fact that they didn't feature at all in the sequel.
That's pretty justified, actually.
What is disappointing though is that throughout the entire game you only see 3 Native American Indians and only 2 of them are actually in the village itself. Towards the beginning of the game you locate this guy in a standalone teepee.
Hello, you must be Peter Pan.
How did you guess? Maybe it was a feathered cap, the pixie, or the fact that I could fly that gave it away.
All I really need are feathers.
Of course you do.
Okay, so long story short, it turns out this Indian guy runs a shop with items that you can purchase with feathers, such as health, pixie dust, and helpful tips, which vary in their helpfulness. White feathers are worth 1 point, blue ones are worth 5, and red ones are worth 10.
Must be a lot of bald birds around here.
I'll agree it's refreshing to see the Indians not depicted as atavistic savages as in the 1953 film, but the alternative is really rather bland.
But hey, there's no blatant racism. Isn't that great, Indian man? I mean, it might be bland and characterless, but anything's better than this! Don't you think so, Indian man? Okay. Did you want to say anything else? Right. Okay. Well, it's an improvement, I guess.
And that's before we've even mentioned Tiger Lily and the Chief.
An old Indian legend says that when music is played, some invisible things may be revealed.
Yeah, of course it does.
Tiger Lily tells you that in order to reveal any invisible object blocking the path to the next area, you need to play your panpipes. Peter remembers conveniently that the crocodile has them.
Which is silly. Crocodiles don't play the panpipes. No. They play the trumpet. Okay, that was an alligator. Whatever, same thing.
By this point in the game, you have 3 of the 4 map pieces. Once you return to the Indian village, you eventually find the chief, who has unsurprisingly been ravaged by the PC brigade and become the most boring man in existence.
Piece of a treasure map around here?
I don't think so.
Also, it turns out he has absolutely no idea where the last piece of the map is.
Well, then that was a waste of time. Oh, no. He has a clue. He then tells you with great enthusiasm what you need to do.
The lake can help you, little flying eagle. If you show it pieces of the map, it will show you the location of the last piece.
Great.
Okay, I'm all for equal representation, but this is ridiculous. The 3 Indians you actually get to see are whitewashed, bland, boring beyond belief, and completely devoid of character. It's painfully obvious that the developers had the racial insensitivity of the original classic in mind when they made this. Which is great, but it's gone from one extreme to the other. I'll agree the original depiction isn't exactly welcome in media today, but they've taken away these racist signifiers and replaced them with, well, nothing. And it probably wouldn't be so jarring if they hadn't kept the angry Turkish twat and the horny fishwomen, whose depictions are arguably equally as horrific.
Welcome to the confused PC mess that is the 21st century, folks.
Most annoying level, to the lake. After the chief tells you to go find the lake, you then go and find the lake.
Seems reasonable.
The problem is that the path there through Skull Rock is littered with all kinds of dangerous invisible hazards, including invisible pirates.
Yeah, the pirates are apparently magic now.
Anyway, you're constantly having to play your panpipes and it gets tiresome. Unlike the previous levels, there's nowhere in this level where you can take a breather. You're constantly ducking and diving and playing a tune. Eventually you find the lake, and it does indeed tell you where the last piece is, somehow. We don't know how this lake came to exist, and we're not really expected to care either. Really, it just seemed like an opportunity to throw in an extra, unnecessary level.
It's in that boat.
Yeah, just one thing worth noting actually, all 4 pieces of the map are eventually found around a pirate ship and Pirate's Cove. I mean, you may as well have just stayed in the same place the whole game. It would have been a lot more boring, but it would have been over a lot quicker too. But this boy likes to do things the hard way.
Most challenging puzzle, finding the Lost Boys. After you progress so far in the game, you encounter a unique parrot. You vow to catch it, but can't fly fast enough. The twins approach you and inform you that
Something horrible has happened. The pirates have kidnapped the lost boys.
Oh, you two are gonna be annoying, aren't you? Yes, you are.
All we know is that they've hidden them in secret spots all over the island, just to trick you.
You know, normally the stereotypical twin repeats every word the other twin says verbatim and not just the last few words. I actually think the other twin just forgot his lines.
Anyway, as it turns out, you need to find and rescue the other 4 Lost Boys.
Oh,
Kinda sounds like they're all laying an egg.
Peter, you came to my rescue.
Anyway, they grant you a flying boost if you find them, before gleefully running away.
That bear suit chafing a bit, mate.
Once you have them all, you can catch the parrot, who seems to have something stuck in his throat. Seriously, is he meant to sound like that? Sounds like he's swallowed an apple or something. Anyway, I have to admit this parrot chase is completely pointless for me whenever I play it, since by this point I always have the maximum number of feathers anyway. Oh, but you need a flying boost because once you complete the map, your shadow takes it, and you need to chase him and retrieve it. Once you finally get the map, Hook actually finds the treasure before you,
Rendering the entire game pretty much completely pointless.
Your game builds to a pretty anticlimactic final battle between you and Hook, and you then get to open a treasure chest to find another feather.
Yay! As if the ending couldn't have been more anticlimactic.
Inscribed on the feather is a message saying that if you now go back and collect all the feathers in a level, you're awarded a golden feather.
Which is interesting. Actually, no it isn't. It's immensely disappointing, actually.
This is, as expected, completely pointless. Do you get a reward? Do you bollocks? Nope, you just get this. Fantastic. So not only do you have to return to the odd level to find the secret areas and Lost Boys, but you also need to complete the game at least twice to achieve 100% completion. Great.
Oh, I've wasted my life.
You know what? I like this game, but it is a bit bland. It's not perfect and it can get repetitive, but Peter controls well, and flying around Neverland can be oddly satisfying. The enemies could do with posing more of a challenge though. There isn't much variation and they're a little overused. Then it's kind of amusing watching in horror as one of these pirates charges at you wielding his swords, only for him to come to the end of his designated path and turn back. Okay. See you then. One thing I didn't mention is the flighting fly levels. That's because they're barely worth mentioning. fun. In each of these levels, you send Tinkerbell down a narrow passage to try and unblock the tunnel. Sounds like colonic irrigation. At the end of which, there's always a conveniently placed fuse for her to light. How about that? You only have to repeatedly press one button in all of these challenges, and honestly, the time you spend waiting for the level to load probably exceeds the time of actual gameplay. Although it is nice to have a break from Peter once in a while. This game is a personal favourite, mostly for nostalgic reasons, but honestly, from a critical standpoint, not even all the pixie dust in Neverland could raise this from the cesspool of mediocrity. I like that pun. Cheer up, mate. Might never happen. Running a convenience store isn't the best job, I know, but at least you're meeting people. Well, I'm guessing anyway. Although I doubt you get much custom out here in the sticks, do you?
Nah, I didn't think so.